So how were your cornflakes this morning? Mine were perfect. The Aggies beat the Tigers last night 38-23, and my bet is their cornflakes tasted a little on the tangy side. We got a lot to talk about. This is the Aggie Central podcast. Here we go.
Going to throw here to Parker at the 20, at the 15, at the 10, 5. He is almost. He got a touchdown! He got.
Left center field. It could be. It is a home run.
Oh, doctor!
Howdy, and welcome to the Aggie Central post-game reaction. What you saw last night is what you've known all year. You've known what this offense is capable of. We've all known it. We've been talking about it. We've kind of tried to diagnose it. We have speculated on this and that, quarterbacks and offensive lines and scheme and expired offenses and all sorts of stuff, haven't we? We've really been talking about it. I think we kind of pegged it about week 3 or 4 here. Working through it with you all, we really just kind of narrowed it down, I think, and I think we got confirmation last night what it was. You know, we finally saw this offense do what we knew it could do, and something fired them out of a cannon for 38 points. Where did that come from? Now, I caution you, though. Don't let this win fool you, okay, because we got changes to make still. We do. We got some things that we're going to have to work through. This does not fix everything. Winning feels good. I'm so excited to not be going in the off season with a bitter taste in my cornflakes. But we definitely got something to take away from this. And it's okay. Drink a little bit of Kool-Aid. Have at it a little bit. We've been waiting all year for some. Had a little bit along the way. And it's been basically a drought for the last 6, 7 games, right? I won't even call UMass getting back into it. But here we are. Beat the number 5 team in the nation, LSU, going to the SEC championship. Drink a little Kool-Aid. It's fine, okay? So, again, we beat that number 5 LSU team, and we have beat 2 other top 10 teams this year. 3 ranked teams, which are more than some playoff team contenders can say. You realize that? So, trying to give you a little Kool-Aid because there is some there, and we deserve just a little bit. We don't want to get drunk on it, but there is some to be had. So, what did it take? What did it take for this offense to do what it did? I think the way I've rationalized it is this. I think it took knowing your team. You agree? I think it took Jimbo knowing the team and what the team needed. We talked a lot this year about how the tackles have been needing help, about the offensive line letting pressure get up and in basically anytime, any place, anywhere. We've known that that's been a problem. We've talked about ways to fix it. Chipping on the left side, particularly to help Zune out. Right side as well. Picking up pressures through the middle. Being ready to rotate on the stunts. Lots of things, right? There were lots of ways. One of the ways we also mentioned about it, I had been a heavy favorite of, is working in more 2 tight end sets. We've been working in 1. When we've done the 1, we haven't really done a whole lot of 2 running backs with it, or I formation or anything like that, but we worked in both of those last night. We got in 12 personnel and 21 personnel. 12 personnel, 1 running back, 2 tight ends, just for anybody wondering. 21 opposite, 2 running backs, 1 tight end. So we did a lot of that last night. Man, what a breath of fresh air. We talked about it in the UMass game reaction, that this looks like this could be something. Mentioned it was just against UMass. Some people, really took that a little bit more to heart than others because it was UMass, so why get all excited about it? But looky here. We saw something like this happen if you followed me on Twitter. showing that this was something that could be done against LSU. because I believe it was, oh, somebody used it on them recently, that they kind of struggled with a little bit early, but showed that it was possible. Worked out well for us, didn't it? Worked out really, really well for us. So what did we do with it? I am more than ecstatic to kind of roll off these stats real quick. Weigman goes for 12 of 18, 60%, 155 yards, 2 TDs. Chain racks up 215 on the ground, adds another 2 TDs. If this guy hadn't missed 2 games, if we played like this all year long, does anybody not think this guy would be in New York? I think he'd be in New York. That's where I'm gonna stand on that one. Moose, 5 catches, 94 yards. Got him a TD, got him a big TD too. What a hell of a catch that was. Have you seen anything quite like that? I mean, we see something like that about, what, once, maybe twice a year? That's probably going to be on best catches of the year. I don't know what channel ESPN will be running that on and when, but it needs to be there, right? So yeah, added the other huge elite catch, Weigman throwing it up to him, and him just going up and doing Moose things. I think we're just going to have to dub it that sort of thing now, doing Moose things, right? Special guy, him, a chain, and what we kind of did here, well, let's finish this out real quick because I don't want to forget about Stewart because he had really 4 really nice and timely, low-key clutch catches. He had 42 yards, and this got us 38 points. But like I, been talking about previous, I guess the offense is still expired. Is it? Yeah, still expired, right? Milk Jug expired 2014, right? Okay, so, been trying to get people to nail this down, and we've tried to tinker with it on here to try and make sense of the criticism from others. And I think the points were there about talking about the ideas. The offense as a whole, I don't think, has been very well explained about it being expired. I think concepts within the offense were expired. Is somebody going to look at me after this game and tell me that 2 tight ends is an expired concept? I mean, Donovan Green added, 3, 4, 5 catches himself, at least one other TD. Make sure I'm not missing another one, but a huge catch from him. This dude is over here just blocking again. Things we talked about last week, inputted again. It's just a difficult concept for a defense to grasp a hold of. I mean, you're looking at this guy and he's blocking and he's just crushing it. He's just crushing a block. And you're sitting here thinking, what, any second now, this guy's going to go out for a pass, right? Well, and then he does. So you're behind the 8 ball. Great scheme by the coaches. Great job. I got criticism of Jimbo and also have a lot of accolades, okay? Put yours in the comments. I'm sure there are plenty on both sides. Remember, like I said, don't get drunk on the win. Just have a little bit of Kool-Aid, not a whole bunch. We got work to do. My props to Jimbo are this. He showed us he can change. That's my number 1 prop, okay? He went out and he changed up the formations. He played to the strengths of our players. He played to the areas that we needed help in. And lo and behold, what do we talk about? When you expand that pocket, you add tight ends on either side. You widen that pocket. It's harder to get around the edge. And your assignments become a little bit easier to block because you've got more help there. And then we run out Donovan Green after he's been blocking. And, we play this cat and mouse game that we won. So, I think that's his major accolade for this game. And just in general, just finding a way to adapt and show us something different and new. I'm thankful that it's happened now, because I don't want to see this go the way of the Fran. I don't want to see this go the way of the Fran. I don't want it to be the last game kind of situation. I don't want to go through finding a new coach. I will if I have to, but that's not what I'm hoping for. So, very good to see him adapting. He ran in some mesh routes as well. We've been talking about those this year. Mesh routes were there. And really though, here's the thing. For all the backlash about this offense, whenever the time was there to throw, were the routes really that outdated? I think we've really been maybe even nitpicking these routes because with solid time to throw, Connor, at least Connor, can deliver an accurate ball with just an arm's length worth of being open, and that's all it takes. It doesn't take much to actually be open to these, upper echelon elite quarterbacks. So having just the time to throw, I think, made all the world. I mean, we couldn't get a three-step drop. We didn't have any time to make any decisions, no checkdowns, no nothing. Now we've got the time. And look what happens. So we knew it. We've been diagnosing this all year. We thought that's what the case was. My criticism is that, though. We knew it. Why didn't he know it earlier? Why did it take so long to get this way, right? Is this not the overarching major con to this whole thing? Why did we wait so long? Ooh. I think this was probably, I think we had it pegged on paper in the beginning. We had the wrong concepts dialed up. We may have even chose the wrong quarterback early on. I hate to say it. It's hard to say. I'm not a huge fan of that thought because how am I supposed to gauge Max or Haynes when the offensive line's not doing a good job and we're not scheming like we were in this last game to give them the time that they needed to actually show what they could do. So I'll leave that there, though, okay? But we may have picked the wrong guy right from the get-go. We obviously didn't pick schemes to go with our strengths. And so that's frustrating. That's really frustrating for me. We're Joe Aggie and Jane Aggie over here, and we're watching it, and we just kind of know. But do the coaches know? I mean, who is running this thing? So I think that's my major criticism. That's my major criticism from Jimbo. So frustrating. Could have been maybe a 10-win team, right? I don't think that's far-fetched. Seeing how the team played tonight, I know it's just one game. I get it. Okay, I'm not trying to channel the Kool-Aid too much, but come on. If we played that way last night, do we think we're losing to App State? I mean, are we losing to South Carolina? Are we, what are we losing to Auburn? I don't know. I mean, these things are very much in question when our team's going to play that way. Okay? Of course, it was last game of the year. A lot of seniors had a lot of stake in this. Hopefully they learned from this to see what it is they've got to bring to the table from a leadership standpoint. I think that's going to be channeled through Donovan Green and Connor Wiegman, Moose, Evan Stewart. I think you're definitely going to see quite a few other leaders step up, Foster and Fothery. Amari Daniels looked good yesterday. We'll see what happens with the rest of the running back core at this point. But on offense, that's what we can do. That's what we can do. Defense, another story. I think we'll talk about defense another night. They did enough. They did what they needed to do. Love seeing the scoop and score for Damani. This guy, fan favorite, right? I mean, he's about as close to Leon O'Neal as you can get at this point, I think. He has really beat the drum. He's talking about how no one's really talking about the transfer portal. Obviously, he's probably going to be meaning anybody of consequence because there's already been 3 or 4 jump in the transfer portal. Cover those real quick if I can. Ish Harris went in today, linebacker, last class. Donnell Harris recently went in, and then L.J. Johnson went in today too. So sad to see those guys go. Hope for the best for them. We'll see where they land, and I hope it's good for them. I do. But I never like those kinds of things. I think about it differently. That's just me. But hope for the best for them, and that's something we're going to be dealing with. But when you stick around like a guy like Damani did and a guy like Leon did, man, you really love to see their successes come through. And doesn't it usually work out that way? Right? So, scoop and score for that guy. Him and, oh man, who knocked it loose? Was it Cooper, I think, maybe? Doing the whole Peavy and Clemens thing. We just didn't quite get the grab at the end going to the end zone. But it was exciting still. So, couple things to note. Jimbo is now 3-0 in Kyle Field against LSU. Played him 5 times. At Kyle 3 times. He's won all 3. 2018, big overtime game. 2020, I think we won that one like 20-3, something like that, right? Low scoring game. And then this one. Played him 5 times. He's won 60% of the time. We got us a rivalry here. And I can imagine somebody's going to be wanting to make our cornflakes taste a little weird next year. So we'll go back over to their place, and then we'll see how that rolls out. Fun times. So what's going to happen? You figure Jimbo's going to be stubborn? You think he's going to change? Or you think he'll dig his heels in? What is he going to dig his heels in on is a big question. But that's been tossed out there that he may be using this to just say and justify what he was saying all year was correct. And it just needed to be execution. Maybe it was. Maybe so. I don't know. I think we're definitely getting a OC though. I think we're getting an OC. That will help. That will help. Again, what was an OC going to do for us tonight or last night? I didn't hear a whole lot of the OC calls last night, did you? Wasn't there. Well, and that's kind of what winning does, but that had to do with decisions made probably by scheme to allow us to do what we needed to do. Great. We did it. So I still think an OC will be needed. I am pro OC. There's a lot going on right now, a lot of game management that just needs to be handed off and duties need to be handed off so that things can be focused on by Jimbo. We need him just managing the game. I don't need somebody arguing calls when we need to be getting a play in. Okay? All that needs to be cleaned up. So they can come on in, they can do offensive coordinating and special teams, whatever they need to do. Let's get them in and let's go. So I think we'll see a little bit of stubbornness from him, but I don't think it'll be that much. I don't think it'll be intolerable. I think he sees what he needs to do. And if he wants to match up our guys with the way they can play, that's the recipe. That's the recipe we need right there. Okay? So, fun times await. We got way more to talk about. There's still so much more to talk about. We're going to look at all of the coaches and kind of give a grade on them too the whole way through and see what we think is going to happen. We'll project out. And then we still need to talk about defense. We'll do that another night. Let's leave it for that. But wow. So for now, enjoy the W. Enjoy your cornflakes, as we all have. All right. We'll talk to y'all soon. Thanks and gig 'em.